Good afternoon, everyone. We welcome you all in the webinar that IPM Group of Institutions has organized today on the theme of role of human resources and organizational behavior in business sustainability. This major objective of organizing this webinar is just to focus on the evolving areas of human resource and sustainability in the business that in today's time we are facing a lot of crisis for. So let me begin with the program. Before beginning, let me just introduce about IPM Group of Institutions. We also have one conference which is on the same theme that is being organized in February. So all the participants, if they want to present their focus and focused area who are having on human resources and want to present their research work, they can participate in that conference, which is being organized on 27th February. So let me begin with the program. I would invite Dr. Vimal ma'am on the dais, please, so that she can introduce about GAD TLC and about our conference, which is being organized with association with GAD TLC of MHRD. Vimal ma'am, over to you, please.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ekta, and good afternoon, everyone. Let me on the outset, first of all, welcome you all on behalf of Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, which is a center of Ministry of Education under Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching Scheme. So I first of all welcome you in this webinar. And another thing which actually I requested IPM to join today is that we are jointly organizing one international conference, and this international conference is e-conference, and it is themed on role of human resources and organizational behavior for business sustainability in current scenario. And this is scheduled to be held on 27th February 2021, which is a Saturday. And there will be many international speakers, including Ms. Kiki Winshawev, who is MD from Right and Bright International Company Limited, Myanmar. There's Dr. Dilip Kumar, who is from Africa Business School, Gunjan Handa from American Express, New York, Dr. Mrityunjay Mishra, who is professor in BHU, Professor Bakshi, who is Vice Chancellor PDM University and Center Chairman of our centers, and there will be many other speakers, and all of you can not only benefit from the sessions, but you can take part in the poster presentations and the oral presentations. And there are various tracks. Let me tell you, there is track 1, which is on human resource. Finance is another track, economics is another one, law is another one, and there is a special track which will be beneficial to all subject teachers, entrepreneurship and higher education. And I'm very sure even in your classroom teaching, if there are some case studies and models you will like to reflect upon, especially the challenges and the changes which are coming in higher education due to corona, due to ICT, and the various how you can relate it to the management issues and the HR issues, I think this will be a wonderful opportunity where you can put this into important publication, get benefit, because all this is going to be published in Scopus Indexed or UGC Care journals, and the details which we will be having, I'll request IPM to please share it with all these participants who have joined today, and you can benefit. And you can submit your abstract 30th November. So for that, you'll have to hurry up actually. So that's why I told that, okay, let me also request my colleagues. And if you can send the abstract, the detailed paper, you can send it by 15th of January, and along with the plagiarism report. So that is thing. And regarding this today's webinar, I Again, we'll congratulate IPM for conducting this webinar, and uh, to the resource person, Dr. Tina Singh and Dr. Isha Chaudhary, and all the other involved as organizing committee members. So over to you, Dr. Ekta. Thanks for inviting me to share these words, and more details you can share because you'll have the email IDs, and I'll request because there are many watchers on the YouTube also. So if some of you can share the brochure and the links with them as well. And if there are still any query, you can join our Telegram link, and we can share that. I think many of them are already aware with our Center GAD TLC. So we are there to help you around and looking forward to your active participation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words and promoting the conference. Uh, not delaying much, I would like to invite Dr. Tina Singh, who is a professor at New Delhi Institute of Management in Delhi, and she is having an excellent career and having more than 18 years of experience in academics as well as consulting. She is the resource person today who will be delivering a talk. So, over to you, Tina, ma'am.
Thank you, Ekta. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. As Ekta has shared that I am Tina Singh. I work for New Delhi Institute of Management, and I've been with the institution for more than 11 years. And we worked, tirelessly to make us as one of the best industry-linked institution by AICT and CII. And it is my pleasure to welcome everyone here. And we thought of collaborating and learning from each other, and hence we thought of having this session. And I'm especially thankful to my friend Dolly, Dr. Dolly. She's with IPM, and she's been the connecting point for Ekta and all of us to get together and talk about it. So, without much ado, let me just probably share my learnings and experiences in the field of HR, especially post the disruptions that all of us have been experiencing, and especially from the field of HR and organizational behavior, because that is something that I especially live, breathe, and dream on a daily basis. And we make sure that all our students are definitely, trained in the right skill sets where they could handle the future workplace. So, all of us hope that we all remain safe in the current situation and come out with flying colors. Similarly, for the business sustainability as well, for being so diligent in making sure that this event happens smoothly. So today we experience one technical issue. This is something that can happen to any person, any organization, and this is something that all of us need to be prepared for. And this is just one short technical disruption. So I was just simply saying that all of us have experienced such a major, life-changing event that we are experiencing right now. And for business to sustain, all of us need to make sure that we are in the positive spirits and have the right skill sets to manage the future business requirements, because things are never going to be the same again. And looking at the future trends which have been forecasted by leading organizations, which I would be talking about, all of us, it does not matter what industry segment we are part of, sustainability of business is something that we really need to be focusing on. And that begins with all of us as employees, as well as professionals, and also the contributors of the society. So, Ekta, if you could, just confirm if you see my screen once I share, that would help me.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Can you see?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
All right, great. So, very interesting topic, and thank you for IPEM for organizing such a relevant webinar, especially now that we all have probably gotten used to the disruptions, we all have aligned ourselves to the new way of doing things. It's actually time now for us to realize the importance of the most crucial resource and the department, which is the HR department in a company, that how do we ensure that there is actually sustainability. So first things first, that what is it in it for business, what kind of impact that has been forecasted by various leading organizations. And I was reading one World Bank report, and it actually gave all of us a lot of chills. We were really wondering that, are we going back as a global society in terms of the earnings of various countries, various nations? Are we definitely going to restart? I mean, it is also being termed as reignite, or even restart of the earth. So things were not very positive, especially in the first 6 months. Everybody was forecasting that countries, be it developed nations or developing nations or even underdeveloping nations, were showing a downward trend or extremely negative trend in terms of their economic indicators. And the forecast from World Bank, if you can see on your screen, you'll see that they've compared the data for three major economic happenings that have happened. And you see that the recent one, being in 2020, has definitely impacted all the countries equally, and it is the worst off, because it is not only the economic downturn that we are going to experience. We have actually experienced loss of lives, loss of livelihoods of people, and also the businesses have actually shut shop. And there is actually no growth for many of them. They've actually stopped functioning. So what is it that we as HR people could think of to support and bring back our organizations in this post disruption, that some of us think of it as a bane, but there are organizations who feel that it is positive in terms of reinventing the wheel of HR and OB, especially. And for us as educators, it is considered as the best of times. Yes, there are numbers of students which have gone down in terms of education or opting for education, but the key takeaway for all of us is that if we do not reskill, if we do not upskill, if we do not transform ourselves, then our businesses would not sustain. So leaving this negative forecast aside, what is it that organizations can definitely leverage is the power of people. And that is something that all of us have experienced post this disruption. This is what is all of us are calling ourselves as living in the new normal. And for business, what new normal means, that all our decisions that we make, be it the business decision, be it the hiring decision, be it the performance decisions, or even the customer based decisions, have to be based on data. So there has to be a lot of data which has to be utilized by all of us, and we need to make sure that our systems are in place to make that data driven decisions. There is a renewed, or you can say a very invigorating focus on digital marketing and social media and its use in sales effectiveness in all across. This new normal is not for only you or me in terms of an education setup, but all organizations are feeling this, that this is what is the new normal that they would be experiencing. And especially from the HR standpoint, we have actually short circuited into the new future of work, which has created new job roles, which has actually turned around various departments. It has actually made us to question that, do we really need the traditional way of doing things? Are we definitely going to go back to the normal that we had before the pandemic, or HR has to reinvent? That's what the organizations are experiencing. So there is upwards surge of companies which are offering matrix commerce in terms of omni-channel, especially in marketing and other domains. Similarly, for HR per se, you have to think of collaborating and upskilling and having a digital mindset as an HR professional. the senior leadership has to have, again, a totally new focus for the business and leverage the power of people, because it's unlike the uh, times of the past where people could get together and work out a strategy. We need to think of working remotely and making sure that everybody is adapted to this new space and other things. Um, we all need to leverage the power of the next generation, leverage the experience of customers that is there, and most important trend that all of us, especially in the HR domain, have adapted to is the utility in anything and everything we do. All traditional functional areas have had the digital landscape which has touched them, and it has transformed our lives. And I'll just take you through a short video which would tell you that what is the future workplace going to be like. And that would be the starting point of our discussion, that how HR and organizational behavior as fields and of future organizations would help in sustenance of business.
Hey guys, real quick, let me tell you about
So, Ekta, can you hear the audio?
Udemy. Right now, they're having a Black Friday sale and
Yes,
courses.
ma'am, it's audible.
To get a sense of what Canada's workplaces may look like, look to other countries ahead of the curve, like Italy, where they've installed traffic lights for washrooms. Green means go, literally. They've already passed temperature checks to get into the building. Once inside, a smartphone app monitors if they're within 1.5 meters of someone else for more than 15 seconds. It's not a tool to spy on us, this worker says. It may be a little less Big Brother in Canada, but experts say workplaces here will also see big changes.
We started the 6-feet office project with the...
This global real estate firm is suggesting one-way hallways, desks with plexiglass dividers, workers using disposable pads to limit hard surface contact and allow for easier cleaning. Shared areas like lounge space may need to be booked in advance. Elevators will be limited to just a few people per ride, which could mean long queues in high-rise towers. But that would be mitigated by a gradual return to work, starting with perhaps 2 or 3 days a week in the office, and alternating those days between co-workers. Many of these measures could stay in place until there's a viable vaccine or a treatment. That could mean working from home in some form or another for months or possibly even years. For some, the change could even be permanent.
A lot of companies are now seeing that it is possible to still be efficient while a lot of their employees are not in the office.
That could have an effect on commercial property values.
If that's 20 or 30% of the population working from home, certainly that will soften demand on real estate.
But even with fewer people inside, she says, offices will likely need more space to keep people separate. Either way, return to work may never truly be return to normal. Aaron Saltzman, CBC News, Toronto.
So coming back to a discussion that you saw in...
Right now, there's one thing all 8 billion of us on Earth wish for, a vaccine for COVID.
So you all saw in this video that, how things are going to be totally different than what we have expected. The real estate may have a totally different requirements. Even the HR has to design policies to how to get people back to work, how to manage remote workers, how to make sure that the policies have to be adapted to the new normal. So moving ahead, the key takeaway for us as HR professionals or as organizations of future, which is looking at sustaining any kind of business that we are part of, we need to make sure that we adapt to all these dimensions of digital requirements, the data that we generate, the privacy concerns that people may have, the customer experiments or experiences that we may have, all those things have to be managed by us as organizations of future. That brings me to another study which was done by Constellation Group, which basically said that the future workplace would definitely revolve around having a totally new way of thinking, which would involve having business continuity plans. It would have policies for hybrid employee experience, which means that we may not ever be 100% back to our workplace. There has to be a system of hybrid. It has to be online as well as offline. It has to be online customer experience, online employee experience, similarly offline experiences as well, which will not be the same. We need to have recovery and growth plans. You just never know. None of us anticipated something like this, that we would be experiencing lockdowns like this, and our traditional way of doing things were actually questioned. But a lot of organizations have done commendable work in coming back on their feet, because they probably had a plan B in place and they were digitally ready. What I'm trying to get at is that future of HR in business sustainability is dependent on technology, and hence all the implications that the disruptions could cause would definitely be dealt only when we are ready in terms of the digital trends, and we make sure that our education, our organization, our employees of the future, even our current way of doing things have some kind of digital element involved into that. And how do we ensure that as an HR person? I'm really happy to share this report, which came out in 2020 by Gartner, a leading research organization. And according to them, that the HR's role has actually gone through a major change post the pandemic, and it has led to more remote working, which all of us are experiencing. We never thought that all of us from across the world would get together on a platform. It took years and years of planning to organize one mega event, whereas here it was using a few gadgets and emails and messages, we were able to organize such an event. A great work. Congratulations to IPM team. So there is going to be increased focus in remote working, which basically means that HR has to have policies to manage all these new work contracts for these remote working. There is going to be new data generation, not only performance data, but even personal data. So you need to have privacy policies in place. You need to make sure that how do we utilize this new data which is getting generated, and how to make database decisions. All of us have been reading about, the gig workers coming back into the workforce, and post the, disruption, we would see a major, expansion in HR strategy of hiring people who are not permanent on roles of an organization. Employer's role has been transformed or would be transformed into the future, which would be supported by HR, because we as employers are not going to be job creators anymore, but we would also be an organization which is going to be responsible for social security of the employees. So basically what Gartner was trying to tell us was that the HR has to make sure that they help employees and the top leadership adapt to the new normal, make sure that the systems are responsible in terms of handling the organizational complexity in times. Gartner is not the only one which brought out the role of HR in the post-disruption world or post-pandemic world. There is also Deloitte, which came out with a very interesting report that as employees, that what are those challenges that HR would face in terms of digital transformation of organizations, which is the most essential element for business sustainability of future. So this chart that you see on your screen is telling you about the kind of workman comfort with respect to digital technology. Organizations which have employees who are in the space of digital explorer, digital pragmatist, or digital evangelist are the ones which are going to be sustaining their business more so in future, because most of them are definitely going to leverage technology, per se. And in education, we all have been talking about Industry 4.0, and there was forecast from McKinsey, forecast from KPMG as well, that workers or employees of the future need to be comfortable with Industry 4.0 technologies like AI or AR, VR, robotics, SMAC technologies, all those things. But I mean, I'm really happy to share that there are a lot of success stories coming from organizations from across the globe, and especially in India, where HR has been commended for the great work that they have done in transforming the L&D land space using the digital technology, which is helping employees upskill themselves and acquire new futuristic skills to adapt to the new organizations. Coming back to our topic, which is what is the role of HR and OB in business sustainability, especially in the new normal. So this KPMG highlighted very, those small concerns which wasn't that strong when we were working in the offline space, and HR used to have policies in place, but now there is a renewed focus that organizations need to focus on trust. They need to have loyal employees, need to have ethical framework, make sure that your hiring practices are not any kind of biases, or you need to automate your systems, ensure that your HR vendors are financially strong so that they much disruption. Ekta, I think somebody's mic is on. That's causing, some noise. Yeah. So, so another most important area which would help organizations is to have ethics helpline, have more focus on employee background screening, because when people are working remotely, you do not have a supervisor who's watching works of employees on a day-to-day basis. So having robust systems in place, HR systems in place, which make sure that there is fraud detection, there is risk mitigation, especially at the hiring level and at the employee performance level. All these technologies, digitization, automation in HR would definitely help us having systems in place. But at the end of the day, we have to learn to be working with people. Similar concerns were raised by IBM as well. It came out that organizations of future are definitely going to be AI enabled, especially in the HR domain. A lot of companies have done work. People Matter Studies has also said that workforce have to be agile. They need to, your systems of HR have to be configured with AI. Companies are investing in HR chatbots so that there is timely response to employee queries. Offline systems may not work for a long period of time. If you can automate certain processes in HR, that would definitely handle concerns of business, and would definitely save a lot of time for companies to focus on business growth into the future and develop talent. Um, and before I close, probably next 2-3 minutes, I just wanted to show you an HBR forecast, which is from 2020 to 2030, which said that what are those job roles which HR people would have into the future. So if you see here, this is telling you about the job roles in HR, post the pandemic. If you see here, companies are hiring HR people to handle all these aspects. But if you move on to the years, and if you're technology ready, you see that all those new jobs are getting created in the domain of HR. Be it strategic business director, chatbot, and human facilitator. None of us thought that chatbots and technology or digital would be in the HR landscape. All these contains open, diverse research opportunities for HR and NOV professionals. And at the end of the day, all surveys, all forecast of leading organizations across the world as well as in India have said that HR would help sustain all those business requirements only and only if we think of digitizing our workspaces, and not only for HR but for all employees. But in digitization, we should not be losing focus on the connection that we have with our employees. We should not be losing focus on the relationship aspects, which seems very difficult. I mean, if I don't hear Ekta's voice telling me that otherwise I'm only talking to my laptop, nobody would know that we have that one-to-one interaction. Similarly, the employees would also feel that, simply automating it, an organization is not sufficient for taking care of the future requirement. And I'm really happy to share that we as an organization, NDIM has done a lot of work in the post-pandemic space with National HRD Network, and which brought us back to major learnings from the sphere of HR. There was a survey conducted by National HRD Network for which included a sample of 110 CHROs in India, and our faculty, we collaborated with them in this research, and which brought us to refocus on the people dimension, which said that no matter what kind of digitization we might have, what future of work trends are going to be there, new talent pipelines, new automated strategies for HR and behavior. But at the end of the day, you need to have, the human touch. HR needs to be more human now, especially post the pandemic and the disruptions, because there are irreparable losses that companies have experienced and people have experienced, in the organizations, and they've lost their livelihoods. If not lost, at least they've lost someone in their family. There's a major mindset shift that organizations and their employees have gone through. Similarly, customers have also gone through those, changes. And the main findings, I'm really happy to report, which NHRD and NDIM study of CHROs came out with, that it is actually about mind, the mind of employees that you may have in your organization. Manage the people, help them manage their minds and mindsets. They would definitely help in transforming business, leading organizations into the future, and making sure that organizations are having employees who are ready to handle any kind of issues. Um, uh, Before we started this survey, there was a study by WHO which said that in 2009, it came in October 2019, that organizations have at least 42.5%, of employees of, across the world are going through a major problem of depression. This I'm talking about figures prior to the pandemic, which is in 2019. 42.5% in terms of a depression figure is really bad, because organizations are run by employees, and they need to they are the ones who lead the businesses, they are the ones who transform our organizations, and they were the ones who were responsible for handling the future disruptions that came up for all of us. How do we ensure that our workplace is safe? How do we ensure that our employees have a support group in the organization, so that these depression issues, which even happened, or which increased manifold post the pandemic, having HR systems in place, making sure that you have HR retransform itself into humane HR. We are known as human resource professionals, but all these studies that you've come across yet talked about digital transformation of HR, but even in digital transformation, it talked about having the love for people, love the human element of the organization, be more humane as a professional. that would help us sustain our business. Similarly, for customer service professionals, we need to be more focused towards the needs of our customers. Similarly, that's how HR, through its L&D strategies, through its performance management dimensions, through its training programs, ensures that employees are managing the future requirements which have been brought forward by these changes that all of us have experienced. Another finding of the study said that how HR department can help promote positive mental health amongst employees when they are working from remote locations. So a lot of organizations had counseling sessions, had remote connect sessions for their employees. Otherwise, it ended being a remote organization which was connected digitally, but wasn't connected in the human sense of the word. There were a lot of employee engagement activities which came forward, especially in terms of removing the stress from online working or remote working, or disruption of work-life balance that happened because of the pandemic. There were a lot of investments by organizations on these HR activities, and at the end of the day, the main learnings for all of us as future professionals is, who are delving upon the issues that how to sustain business. A, look at digital transformations. B, look at mobile supercomputing, and make sure that your HR is more humane in the digital sense of the word, and make sure that it handles all those future pressures that have been raised by the organization. That brings me towards the end, that we all need to adapt to the new normal, which is something that none of us envisaged. All the HR landscape has to be reinvented, rethought of, with the new, digital transformation, digital skills, incorporating artificial intelligence, robotics, chatbots at workplace. But at the end of the day, make sure that all your support functions are well in place, even in the remote working requirements, so that the behavior of the employees is positive or conducive towards sustaining the business needs. And all the surveys, be it Deloitte, be it KPMG, be it Gartner, be it NHRD survey, which we participated in and analyzed, it just at the end of the day said, respect the power of people. They are the ones who would lead the digital transformation of organizations and would definitely help in sustaining the business of the future. And that brings me to the end of my talk that I had thought of. I would be open to have any questions if there are. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. If anybody would like to answer, put up a question to Dr. Tina, ma'am, can do so by unmuting their mics. I guess, ma'am, the talk was so great that nobody is having a question and they're just applauding it the way you just delivered it.
So much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm always available. You can reach out. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am, for just letting us know what the changing role of HR is in. Since this meeting is going to end, I would request again the participants to join with the same ID so that it doesn't get disrupted. Moving on further with the program, we have another speaker with us who is a part of IPM group of institutions, Dr. Isha Chaudhary, who has done her MBA from ICFI Gurgaon, PhD from CCS University. She's a senior faculty in HR in IPM group of institutions, having more than 15 years of experience of teaching and research with publications in various journals of national and international repute. She has also been delivering sessions on different aspects of HR, like industrial relations, performance and reward management, etc., at various platforms and seminars and conferences. So, Dr. Isha will be joining through my ID only. I would request her to come and take over the dais.
Good afternoon, everyone. As ma'am has told, I am Dr. Isha from IPM College. Before starting my session, first of all, I would like to thank to my college who give this opportunity to me to discuss my thoughts on the topic which is related with HR and business sustainability. Before starting my session, I would like to thank ma'am also because she has explained so well about this concept of HR and business sustainability here after post pandemic. So I would also start, but my PPT and my topic, my today's presentation is related with the basic features of sustainability and what HR has to play in business sustainability that we have to cover here. As ma'am has connected it with the pandemic, but I am just telling you what is the role of HR in business sustainability. Is sustainability really related with HR and what roles HR has to play for the long lastingness of any organization. So I would start first of all, as we know, कि sustainability, many of the people are having this inclination that sustainability is very much related with the environment only and with the society only. So I would like to tell them that this is also related somehow with the people and their well-being in the society, how people are maintaining their balance with the society as well as the environment in which their organization is prevailing or the community in which their organization is running. So, uh, sustainability is a very important and very burning topic in today's time, and it requires a culture of openness to just decided the various points of view. So, does sustainability? Sustainability is different for everyone. The meaning of sustainability is different to different people, but the basic meaning of sustainability is long lastingness. How we can retain our business in that speed in which we can have the scope of growth and profit. So, first of all, we will discuss about sustainability. What is sustainability and what is the role of sustainability? So, sustainability is basically the meeting the needs of people today without compromising the needs of future generation, how they will be achieving their needs. Okay, and they are depends on the 3 points. Number one, a broader view of social, environmental, and economical outcomes, as our sustainability is related with societal, environmental, and economical outcomes. Yes, it is a long-term perspective. It is a long-term perspective because many of the organizations who are in the big platform, they take a pledge of sustainability, but it takes a long time to fulfill it. For having the organization sustainability, this is very important that we have to be include our environment, social and governing issue in it, because uh, we in the organization sustainability mainly focus on how we are sustaining our resources which is useful to running our organization in the long term. Now we will move to the next slide. This is basically the framework of three pillars of sustainability. One is environment, economy, and society. Our sustainability basically depends on the environment, and the economy, society. If we talk about one by one, each one of them, environment is basically related with the ecological balance that we have in the environment. That is the ecological balance and how we are using the resources into the organization. After that, economic is sustainability. If we talk about economic sustainability, then we have to arrange the resources for our employees so that they can fulfill their financial needs, financial requirements, right? And society, okay, we have to give them the basic, their rights should be fulfilled, basic human rights there should be fulfilled, and basic necessities related with their life should also be fulfilled. So this is basically the three pillars of sustainability. One is economic, second is environmental, and third is society. See, it, as ma'am has told also, the role of HR in company sustainability is very important, very significant, because companies, those who have not associated their business policies with the sustainable policies, can be distinguished from those organizations who has not inclined their business policy with the organizational policies. So it is important, and these organizations feel themselves distinguished from those organizations, those who have not inclined with the sustainability policies. Okay, high performer organizations, high organizations those who have sustainability process or activities can be clearly articulated. See, organizations, those who have discussed it now, now as we have discussed about the sustainability, now we will discuss about the various features of HR. As ma'am has discussed in his uh, PPT very well. She did. It is a very important, significant, and important role of HR in framing the policy of the organization. Either it is the policy of the sustainability, either it is the policy of recruitment. Like every policy of HR is important for the for smooth running of the organization. So here I have discussed the various HR impact, HR process, HR input in my PPT, like various HR things that we have to discuss for, which is very relevant for smooth functioning of an organization. As we say, if we process improvement and talent development is very important for the long term business sustainability. If we are improving our process, as ma'am said, the after post COVID, we have to change our strategy of running our business, because after post COVID, everything has changed. The way we are having our employee, the way we are managing our employee, those who are working in the organization, and their way of working, their compensation, their performance, everything is going to be changed now. So to make the balance in this, we have to change our process time to time. And talent development, like we have to develop our talent to cope up with these new changes which is prevailing in the market after post COVID. So they all will help in the long term business sustainability, because it help us to cope up with the current changes which will be prevailing or which will be coming post COVID in the organization. Okay, so now my question is, how these two will be related with each other, like sustainability, how it will be related with HR. This is the big question. But obvious, this is very obvious that we have to match our sustainability policy with the HR policy, because HR has a significant role, because they have to create the policy in the organization. They have to create the principles in the organization on which employees are working into the organization. And when we have to match them, then question is, what role does HR functions have in the sustainability program of any organization? So yes, role is there. The role is key. The role is key. Whenever HR department is creating the HR policies or the procedure or the guidelines, principles for their own department, then they have to play a significant role, because they have to match them, and they have to play a major role in structuring the company sustainability policy. So company sustainability policy is also created by the HR department. So there is a relationship between the sustainability and the HR. So role of HR in sustainability of any organization is very important. Now, four critical HR challenges which HR have while managing with while coping with the sustainability of the organization. So these are, first of all, what rules and regulations would you like to and being a manager to manage your business, your people and stakeholder in a sustainable manner, and make their all feel better and contribute to the better future. So how we will mold our employees to give their best to make the sustainability of the business. Okay, what things how you will motivate your stakeholders so that they will be long lasting associated with your organization, how you will motivate your clients, how will you will be associated your prospective recruits, and okay, they will be attracted towards your organization. So these all comes in, this is the first and foremost question. Second question, will training be sufficient for the employees to match up or to cope up with the sustainable development, to deliver the innovations and learning your company to meet the improve, how the employee will improve their performance in the long run, as well as deliver immediate business objectives. Like suppose is training is sufficient, how we are motivating our employee, and if we are giving them training also, then training should be very particular, very specific for particular domain in which we want to increase the skills of our employees. And third is, how can you use the knowledge of HR department, in particular your understanding of competency and working practices across the organization, to encourage manager to incorporate social and environmental issues in the business. How we will give the ownership to our employees that they took part in the societal and the environmental issues. What policies we are inculcating in our organization so that our employees are themselves eager to take participate in environmental and social issues. This is a very important problem. Suppose organization is doing any charity, they are doing something for the society, so are we inviting our employees, are we ask our employees to voluntarily participate in any of the event which is organizing by the company, for like for any charity or any other program for our society and for our culture? So are we doing anything? And the last, which is very very important, what are the right measures and indicators to assess the success of individual and teams in conducting to sustainable development? What will be our role, what will be the role of the employee to be the sustainable development of the organization? Are our policy helping them to do something? That's how they will be connecting with the sustainable development. And are we recruiting the right stuff? Are we, before recruiting someone or before promoting someone, are we seeing that they are commit to the society or not? Are they ready to do something for society or for the culture? See, sustainable organization is that organization who put society and environment on the top, and along with profit and earning. A profit and earning on the other hand, but organization is sustainable organization, or I could say a business sustainable organization who put a society and environment on the top, side by side, yeah, alongside with that, the profit and the earning of in the organization. Okay, so all these four questions will be answered in the way like, if we have to recruit and retain top talents, as ma'am has said in in her presentation also, we have to recruit the right talent. How we can focus on sustainability? We can focus, or success in sustainability can be found if we recruit, or promote that talent who commit to sustainability, who are ready to do something extra for sustainability. So at the time of interview also, we could ask to the employee, okay, are they follow, or we as a recruiter should tell to the employees that these are our policies, and that's why, and that's how we are service to the society and the environment. And we can see, okay, how much that particular person is inclined towards that also. So if we are seeing that yes, that employee have also the eagerness towards the society and culture, we can have them in the organization. Next is applicant pre-assess and social and environmental performance of the company. Before, if we are as a candidate applying in any organization, so I have to pre-assess, okay, what social things an organization is doing, and what is the performance of the organization as an environment on the environmental and social issues. Before applying in the any company, we should also pre-assess all these things. Okay, next is, now we can have the ideas from the employee. Always we welcome our employees, कि how we can be natural, organic, how we can play our social responsibilities, how we can keep our organization green, clean, health and for what we can do for health and wellness and environmental issues also. Okay, so all these things basically related with the sustainability. And before ending my PPT, I would like to just give the uh, ending remarks of this. You see, the organization, those who are give more focus to the sustainability, they have culture, they can drive a culture in the organization who is related with the employee engagement. Employee engagement is there and retention will be there, and they can also generate the brand into the organization. And these type of organization are also welcomed or welcomed by the employees, those who are working here, new recruits. And new recruits as well as the customers also, because customers, new recruits, या फिर potential recruits want to join with those organizations who fulfill their needs, current needs, without compromising the future need, without compromising the future generation to fulfill their needs. Okay, so what is business sustainability means? Business sustainability means कि it comes down to basically preparing the leadership for today, that we need today for our better tomorrow. अपने better tomorrow के लिए अगर हम एक leadership create कर रहे हैं which we need today, है ना, that is what called business sustainability. Okay, we have to retain, we have to procure, we have to secure our resources in which or the communities in which our organization is prevailing, in which our organization is doing business. Okay, that's all from my side. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ekta ma'am. Now it's up to you.
Thank you, Dr. Isha Chaudhary, ma'am, for enlightening us with the various aspects of human resources in current business sustainability. Uh, since we don't have much time and the time is also quite up for the webinar, I would request Mr. Shashank Chaudhary, sir, who is the associate, who is the head of our management programs. Shashank, sir, I would request you to present a vote of thanks to the speakers that have joined, to the participants that have joined us today. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope my voice is audible.
Yes, sir, it's audible.
Thank you, Ekta ma'am, for giving me the opportunity to present the vote of thanks. We on the behalf of IPM Group of Institutions are grateful and highly thankful to all the people who have joined us today in the form of audience of this webinar across India, as well as a lot of international audience we are having this webinar. We are very thankful to all of you for sparing your valuable time for us and be the part of this successful webinar on the role of HR in sustainability of the business. We are extremely thankful to our external speaker, Dr. Tina Singh, and we hope that in future also, whenever we will be having such type of conferences and webinars, which are regular part of the culture of IPM, your available time will be available for us. And our internal speaker, Dr. Isha Chaudhary, who has delivered a very meaningful talk today on HR and sustainability. We are highly thankful to Dr. Isha also for making us enlightened about the role of HR in sustainability of the business. And this function, this particular webinar event could not have been possible without the vision and guidance of the top management of IPM Group institutions. We are highly thankful for that. And particularly the conveners of the webinar, Dr. Ekta Saraswat and Dr. Neetu Moria, who are one of the most dedicated assets of IPM Group institutions. We are highly thankful to them also for organizing this webinar. And particularly, last but not the least, Dr. Vimal, who is on the part of GLD TLC, who has been a regular source of support, motivation, and guidance for us. And we hope that in the upcoming international conference being organized by IPM on 27th February, all the people who are part of this webinar will be the part of that international conference also, and will be presenting their abstracts and papers for making the event successful on 27th February. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Over to you, Ekta ma'am.
Thank you, sir. So we are very grateful to all the participants who have joined us from all the countries, various countries, and we hope to see you in the international conference, which is organized on the same theme. The details can be accessed on the link which is shared on the chat box on YouTube streaming as well, and on the Zoom chat box also. This is the basic information about the conference. So we thank you everyone once again and hope to see you in the conference.